Hello, everybody. This is February CSI. We are going to have a little bit of a Mardi Gras theme to our event today. If you haven't yet, in the chat, there is a link to sign in. So if you are a participant, I would encourage you to do that at this time. So for today, our topics, we have some great guest speakers today. Our hot topics are going to be around our ELL, or our English language learners, and we're going to have a SPED 2.0 coverage with our SPED professional development specialists that have all the knowledge to share with us. We're also going to be talking about the connections to the strategies that we learned today in those breakout sessions and how they tie into the NIET rubric for our observations and for our best practices in teaching. For classroom management, we have started kind of a book study with Teach Like a Champion, and 2 strategies today that really help with classroom management and having a good impact on our students' achievement are the no opt-out and the stretch it strategy. So you're going to learn more about those. And then we have some miscellaneous announcements and tips that we're going to be going through. But first, I want to introduce our ELL and our SPED presenters. We're actually going to be doing 2 breakout sessions in breakout rooms. In our first breakout, I don't know what order you will see them, but in one breakout, we will have the ELL learners topics, and that's going to be Tracy Harris and Beth Braden. They are district level ELL supervisor and coordinator for Caddo. And then for SPED, we have Stacy Jameson and Eric Williams, who are both in our Department of Exceptional Children Specialists. So in a minute, I'm going to break you out. You will have about 15 minutes. Those presenters are going to share their information with you. And please feel free at the end to ask any questions that you may have. So we're going to have 2 breakouts. Let's see if I can get them going. I'm going to have to move a couple of people. Let's see. And of course, Tracy and Stacy get put in the same room.
Oh my goodness.
What are the odds? Right. All right. Eric and Tracy.
No, Eric and Stacy.
I knew it as soon as I said it. Eric and Stacy are going to be in room 2. And everyone, Tracy and Beth, you will be in room 1. And you should have access to present your presentations at that time.
Okay.
I'm going to give you 15 minutes.
Now, hold on. I'm going to go check on my baked chicken. Hold on.
All right. I want to thank all of the presenters, Tracy and Beth, for your knowledge about ELL and working with our students in any grades, pre-K through 12 for that. And then I also want to thank Stacy and Eric from our Department of Exceptional Children. Thank you again for taking some time out of your evening to share your information and your knowledge with us. We appreciate that so much. When I upload the recording, of course, the breakout sessions will not be in it, but I have included their presentation in what will be the PDF copy of this presentation. So you'll have access to their links and their resources and their contact information. And I do want to point out, I did correct Beth's email address incorrectly earlier, and I corrected that. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate your work and coming to spend some time with us. So as we move on from that knowledge that you just gained, I want you to think about the NIET rubric and the components that we have for ELL and SPED right now. And we'll go back to our Teach Like a Champion later. But thinking about the NIET rubric, what are some ways that your instruction can improve? I just want you to think about it for a minute with the information that was shared. So thinking about the NIET rubric.
I'm ready whenever you are.
So I'm gonna pull it up to refresh our memory. Slowly but surely.
Can I go? Can I say?
No, can you give us just a second?
Dang it, Cassie. All right, I'll wait.
I just hold your horses, Amy.
Okay. I'm like my students.
All right, I've given enough think time. Amy, you go ahead while we're loading. What do you think?
Teacher knowledge of students, lesson materials. I forget that what's it's called.
Activities and materials.
Yes, that one. And then
Well, let's go back to what you said about teacher knowledge of students.
okay.
All right, and I'm gonna scroll till I find it. Here's teacher knowledge of students. It's at the bottom. Understanding of how some students anticipate learning abilities, absolutely. Incorporating their interest in cultural heritage. Differentiated instruction, which is a huge component of all of our topics tonight, to ensure that they have had the opportunity to master what is being taught. Every one of those. Can I get a thumbs up, a smiley face if y'all agree? Awesome. All right. Amy, you said another one. What was it?
Oh, activities and materials.
I think here it is, activities and materials. So let's scan through. Remember, we focus on the expectations proficient column in the middle. Scan over those and see if y'all agree. I'm getting some thumbs up already. The one, variety of thinking to be able to use their language and explain, articulate their thoughts. My favorite one is student's choice. I love that. And then all those resources, because I'm sure the ladies and gentlemen earlier shared some great resources with you to help meet the needs of those students in our classrooms. Absolutely. Anybody else? Does anybody have another area of the NIET rubric that they feel would be a great indicator for what we have? And I think somebody put something in the chat. I don't know if that was it's not coming up either on my screen. So
providing
Barry
instruction.
says that he finds a conversation with your students can see what they understand and what they don't, dig it in, using your experiences, things like that.
Okay, thank you.
Would
Come on, Logan, come on, Trey, come on, Garcia.
Would academic feedback be one, because you're looking to see where they are? And
oh, here it is. I scroll past it. Academic feedback.
I don't know. I'm looking. The feedback from students is regularly used. Oh, but regularly used to monitor and adjust instruction.
I mean, absolutely. Absolutely. And then also just the activities to support engagement and monitor their work. I mean, any feedback for all of those. Absolutely. Because that's what we're there for, is to meet the needs of those students. Anybody else? We have any secondary people that are maybe looking at this from a different lens?
Cassie, I put a couple of things in the chat. I said providing instructional content and also your classroom management.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. With classroom management, let's look at presenting instructional content because it's right here. Examples and illustration, analogies and labels for new concepts and ideas. Modeling, absolutely. All of those. So these two topics that we've covered so far, you can see how knowledge and a better understanding and more, as Petit use words for Petit, more tools for your toolbox that you can use with all of your students to meet their needs will help you in becoming a more proficient and effective teacher. Therefore, ticking these boxes and meeting a lot of these indicators. So thank you so much for your feedback and your ideas.
I know some of you are at schools that have high populations of ESL students. I'm going to tell you that the ESL Canvas page that they just showed you has a wealth of resources, not to mention between Miss Harris and Miss Braden and the ESL coaches. SPED 504, we know a lot of resources. We know those people are on our campus. We know who to go to and ask. And so I'm not saying one or the other, but as a teacher that sometimes, oh, I've got a student that showed up and he or she doesn't speak English. What do I do? There's a lot of information on that page. So if you are definitely at one of those schools that's got high population of ESL students, I would tell you to take some time and dive into that Canvas page and really look and see what all is there for you.
Awesome. All right, Batiste.
All right. We are, let me undo my video and just, all right. So we have this wonderful book. It's called Teach Like a Champion. I'm going to tell you, I don't read. I never have liked to read. I surround myself with people who like to read. Miss Harwell, Miss Braden. Many times I have given them a book and they give it back to me with the highlights. And that's the part I look at. And so I will tell you, I read these books from cover to cover. So that says something. We started originally with the original Teach Like a Champion. They have updated the book to Teach Like a Champion 2.0, added some more resources. What's great about this book is in the back. First of all, the man that wrote the book, Doug Lamov, says he in the foreword, he says, I don't know 62 great things to tell you, but I know 62 great people that do things in their classroom that are earth-shattering. And in the back of the book, not only after reading, but in the back of the book, it comes with a companion CD where you can see a lot of, not all, but a lot of the teaching strategies. And so several of you on here already have this book. If you don't, at the end of tonight, we'll tell you how you can get a copy. We will give you a copy of this book. It truly, in my opinion, can make a huge difference in your classroom. A lot of times it's common sense things, but then I'm like, oh, never thought of it that way. So one of our book studies that we have incorporated with working with new teachers is Teach Like a Champion. And each month we would like to bring a strategy or two to you to put more tools in your toolbox. So I am going to stop my video for a second. The first one we want to talk about is the no opt-out. Kathy. It turns the I don't know into success, ensuring that your students who won't try or can't answer are getting it right. There are 3 ways to do the no opt-out. Cassie?
I'm clicking the wrong part of the screen. I'm sorry.
That's okay. A no opt-out is technique number 11. No opt-out helps ensure that all students take responsibility for your learning. My background, the area that I love to call my history, is middle school. And I know in middle school, I've got a lot of kids that were, I don't know. And so we're going to share with you an example of how to get that no opt-out technique in your classroom. Another way to use no opt-out is effectively in helping students who genuinely don't know the answer. I think about one of my sweet kids. It'll take him till next Wednesday to figure out the answer you asked him today. Or even example number 3 of no opt-out, honors and validates students who actually do know. Now, I have Cassie and I are going to do a little role play, okay, to kind of talk about the 3 types. And Cassie and I like role play about as much as we would like a root canal. So bear with us for a second as we do this role play. I'm going to be the teacher and Cassie's going to be the student.
And I'm
So,
doing
for
this
example,
under duress.
huh?
I'm doing this under duress, but
You
I'm
are.
gonna do it.
So, all right, so let's start. I'm gonna be the teacher. This is for that student that needs to take responsibility for their learning. What's the subject, Cassie?
I don't know.
Cassie, the subject was mother. Now, you tell me, what is the subject?
The subject is mother.
Good, Cassie. The subject is mother. So I'm not giving Cassie the option to opt out. Sometimes we might need to bring other people in, and then Emma will use this with example too, about helping students who genuinely don't know. What was the subject, Cassie?
Happy?
Who can tell Cassie what the subject in the sentence was? Janya, can you tell her?
Mother.
Good. Now you, Cassie, what was the subject?
The subject is mother.
Good, Cassie. The subject is mother. And then the third way is to honor those students that validates the students that actually know the learning. Okay, so here's number 3. What is the multiple inverse of -3, Cassie?
3.
But if I multiply -3 times 3, I get -9. Who can tell Cassie what the
Multiplicative.
thank you, inverse of -3 is? Carlos, can you?
The multiplicative inverse of -3 is -1/3.
What is that, Cassie?
-1/3.
Good. Why, Cassie?
Because -3 times -1/3 equals 1.
Good. So tell me how the multiplicative inverse of -1/5 is.
It's -5.
And 4?
1/4.
Good. Cassie, you're now just showing off.
Yeah, I
All right. Now, let's be honest. That was a little horsey, but wanted to show you it's diving in. It's giving that child that knows what's going on the chance to explain, diving in, but nobody's able to opt out. Just because you don't know the answer doesn't mean that you get to be left out of participating. On top of that, brain research, you know, it's my baby. Brain research is going to tell you if you didn't know and you go to another student for help, you come back to that student that didn't know and get them to say the answer. It's firing off another dendrite and increasing that learning. All right, next slide.
Patisse, can I
Yes.
say something there?
Absolutely.
So, CTA candidates, those of you who I have peeped into your classroom, can you please unmute yourself? Anybody? Miss Betty, probably. What is that called that they just did? What is the other word that we have worked on with you with about no opting out, but it's something else?
Academic feedback?
Come on with it. Who was that? Asia Story? Was that you?
Yes, that was me.
Bonus point.
Hey,
Hit me,
okay.
It is.
Give Asia 2 snaps.
Good job,
Awesome.
Asia. It
Okay.
is. It is.
Thank you, Asia, because I was going to say questioning.
It is.
But it,
But it also goes with questioning, Miss Betty, because the questioning refers to help you push your academic feedback. 2 snaps for Miss Betty.
Which, Cassie, if you go to the next slide.
it's not there.
Okay, that's fine. We had embedded a video. So
And
let's
it-
go on to the next one.
oh, there it is. That's weird. I don't know why it did.
That's okay. We can skip it.
It's only 56 seconds.
Okay.
If the spinning wheel of death will stop.
What are you still doing here?
Read number 2 for me, please.
And at close one.
Close. Read it again. You're saying act, Jamel. That's act. And this is the word that we need to read. Jamel, we've been studying these all day today. What is that called? It's a suffix. Put it all together. Active. Good. And active.
Perform. Performs.
Read it, Jaquan.
An active performance.
An active performance. Read it, Jamel.
An active performance.
Which one of those words means an active performance?
All right. So
The
Okay.
other strategy we wanted to share with you today is called stretch it. And stretch it is rewarding those right answers with harder questions.
Oh,
And just like not allowing students to opt out, you know, we have all been dealing with and working with questioning and providing that feedback. And as new teachers, a lot of us are still struggling with how to ask questions to really get that feedback. So I wanted to share Stretch It with you. And it has the habit of making, it's making a habit of asking follow-up questions to successful answers, asking a diverse type of questions, and building a culture around those questions. It is not, and nowhere listed there is it, rapid fire. Let me ask. It's moving through that. So Cassie, could you go to the next slide? Oh, well, no, go back. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Let us give you an example. So Cassie, we're gonna do role play again real quick. So I'm gonna be the teacher, Cassie's gonna be the student. Cassie, how far is it from Durango to Pueblo?
It's Pueblo, 600 miles.
How did you get that?
Well, by measuring 3 inches on the map and adding 200 plus 200 plus 200.
Well, how did you know that to use 200 for each inch?
I looked at the scale on the map, Key.
Good. So I didn't just stop by asking what the difference was between Durango and Pueblo. I'm digging deeper for deeper answers. I want to be able to ask for ways to get evidence. So Cassie, why did Sophie gasp at Janice?
okay.
She gasped because the water was cold when she jumped in.
Can we use a word that shows how cold it was?
Sophie gasped because the water was freezing.
Okay, it was freezing. But what about using one of our vocabulary words?
Sophie gasped because the water was frigid.
Awesome, great job. And then the last example we want to share with you is about building that culture around learning that learning is never done. And so who could use the word stride in a sentence? Cassie?
I stride down the street.
Can you add some details on about how you stride?
I stride down the street to buy some candy at the store.
Can you add an adjective to modify the street?
I stride down the wide street to buy some candy at the store.
Good. Now, can you add a compound subject to your sentence?
My brother and I stride down the wide street to buy some candy at the store.
Fabulous. Can you make it past tense?
Oh gosh. My brother and I strode down the wide street to buy some candy at the store.
Awesome. Class, let's give Cassie some snaps. She did a great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So Cassie, next slide.
It's a really quick video if it will do. Here we go. Maybe. This one may not work, y'all.
We'll live.
Oh, here it is.
What is our conclusion that we can draw from this data? What's a conclusion that we can draw from fewer hands? Kayla, what's a conclusion you can draw? Track Kayla, please. Okay, so Kayla said the different slope affects how deep the stream is, but I need someone to make that more specific. You're right, but I need you to make that more specific. That's a little bit general for us. Shanice, can you make that more specific? Good, the steeper the slope, the deeper the stream is, okay? That's the first part of your conclusion. So you need to make sure it's specific enough, okay? That it not just says that there is a relationship, but that it explains what the relationship is. So the steeper the slope, the more deep the stream is. What's the opposite side of that? What's the opposite of that? Marissa?
The more gentle the stream, the less
good. This is more shallow. Good. The more gentle the slope, the more shallow the stream is going to be. Okay. Now, I want someone to take this one step further and use the word erosion. So that should be the first part. What Shanice said and what Marissa just said should be the first part of your conclusion. But now I want someone to finish it with another sentence that uses the word erosion in there. That uses the word erosion. Karan, can you do that for us? Please track on. Read what you wrote if it has the word erosion in it.
The sea slope made the slopes just greater since it was barely eroded. So the water got more benefit. The gentle slope is rounded already, so the water runs over the spring.
Okay, it's a little bit unclear. Can we clarify? I think Karan is onto it, but it's not quite clear. He's talking about the amount of erosion that's taking place. Let's just say a little bit more concisely. Jessica. Good. The steeper the slope, the more erosion you're going to get, and the less steep, the less erosion you're going to get. Why? This could then be your next sentence. Why would you get more erosion with a steeper slope and less erosion with a gentle slope? Sarah.
You'll get more erosion with the steeper slope because the water is coming down faster or harder.
Good, exactly right. The water is going to flow down faster and harder with a steeper slope, so you're going to get more erosion.
Awesome.
So as we move on tonight, and we've talked about the NIET rubric already, who can tell me where these two strategies would help support us on the NIET rubric?
I read Betty's lips. She said questioning.
I don't know where y'all are. There y'all are. Y'all went behind. Okay. I'm sorry, Betty. Yes, questioning, definitely.
Feedback.
Where else?
Academic feedback.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
I said academic feedback also.
Academic feedback. Yeah, I said that too.
Yeah. Anywhere else?
Maybe thinking. And problem
Presenting
solving.
instructional content.
I heard thinking and presenting instructional content. Absolutely. Thinking for sure, because they're having to explain their thinking and dive deeper. And then presenting instructional content. I absolutely agree with that, because you have to know your content to be able to push them to a higher level and ask those higher level questions. You know, you can have a list of questions all day long, but if they're just surface level questions and you don't dig any deeper and push them, you're not really going to go very far, or you're not going to push them very far. So absolutely.
And one of the other things that I know that the coaches have been working with y'all on is annotating your lesson plans and planning. I mean, when you think about this, you're going to have to really know your lesson to be able to have those questions, to be able to dive deeper, to be able to push forward. And so we kind of wanted to bring the rubric and our other departments learning and what all we've been doing kind of together. So Kathy, you gonna tell them about the homework?
I am. So we've assigned some homework, which, you know, I'm hoping that you actually, without us asking, you do this every month, but want you to consciously think about the two examples we just shared with you and practice them in your classroom over the next couple of weeks. And so when we meet back in March, on March 4th, want you to think about sharing some of those experiences with you. And, you know, did you try opt out and how did it work? We know it's probably not going to be successful the first couple of times you try it, because it's just like anything, you know, you got to get comfortable with it as well. But we want you to take these back and start implementing them right now so that you can add those tools to your toolbox. Absolutely. All right. So, you know, I always love to share a tech tip, and I'm embedding our tech tip in with our drawing for tonight. So, while you're watching and listening to this video, if you haven't already, please sign in on the sign-in sheet that is a Google sheet tonight. But while we're doing that, I want you to listen to this explanation of this great tech tool.
Hi, I'm Richard Byrne. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use Flippity.net's random name selector template to create your own random name picker that you can use either in your web browser on your desktop or in the web browser on your mobile device. So to get started, head to Flippity.net and select Flippity Random Name Picker, and we're going to jump right into the template. Now this will open a Google Sheet. Obviously you need to have a Google account in order for this to work. Now I have the template here. You can go in and swap out names. You can add more names if you want. Now you'll see there's also this option here for photograph. To have a photograph appear with the name, that photograph has to be hosted online somewhere. So for example, I have a link to this photograph, and we want to make sure that the URL ends in .jpg or .png. Go back into the template and paste in that link. Now that I've done that, we'll select File and Publish to the web. We're going to publish this spreadsheet. So theoretically, someone can find this online, so it's important not to put student last names into this template. We'll get the link here. So that's down at the bottom, just the tab for get a link here. Click on that link. And now you have a link to your random name picker. Simply spin it, and it selects a name for you. Now you can also go over here to single name, and you'll see in this case we have Catherine with that picture because that picture in our spreadsheet matched up. None of the other names, as I toggle through, will have a picture because I have not put a picture link in the spreadsheet. Now there's some other neat little features in here. We can go to lineup, and we can just toggle through a lineup of all names. But I really like this groups feature. If you need to randomly create some groups for an activity in your class, you can do groups of 2, 3, 4, or 5. Just open that tab and then use this little mix button, and you can mix up your teams. Same for groups of 4. Now we have teams as well. When I split your class into 2 teams, and do it randomly, just go in and shuffle that about, or maybe you want 4 teams for your class. And finally, we have a seating chart. And this is a quick way to generate a seating chart. And again, just hit that mix button at the bottom, and you can shuffle around. Now, if you want to change the layout of your class, maybe you don't have a 5x4 layout, you want to do a 6x3 layout, and shuffle it that way. So that's Flippity's random name picker. You can find it at flippity.net. You can also use flippity.net's Google Sheets add-on to find the same template. As always, for more tips and tricks like this, please check out freetechforteachers.com and practicaledtech.com.
Awesome. So that is a great example. And I just love that he does that video. And this is a great resource that I found, just trying to come up with some neat ways to implement in your classroom. So if I go to flippity.net, and while it's loading, I'm going to go to the sign in that we had, and I am going to just simply copy everybody's name. Hope everybody got in. I'm going to copy them. I'm going to go to the template. I think I clicked the right one. Yeah. I'm going to go to the template. Like he said, I'm going to make a copy of it. And y'all, once you do this, it's done. You don't have to, you know, you'll be able to do this. I'm going to delete those suggested names. Oh, I didn't highlight Catherine. Let me get everybody. Still loading, of course. Oh, come on. I love technology. It's so wonderful. There we go. So I'm going to paste your names in there. Remember, he said to come up to File and Publish to the web. And then I go to the second tab and I click this link, and it will take me to my page for all of your names. And so this is where we're going to draw for our 2 door prizes tonight. And just while that, oh no, it's having trouble. Let's try again. Come on. What happened? Oh, wasn't it fun to do?
I will go ahead and say we do have 2 gift cards for this month. We have one from Rocket Fast Car Wash. And we have one for Silver Star. So the first name that we draw will be for, or land on, will be for the Rocket Fast Car Wash. And the second one will be for Silver Star.
Okay, so here they are, because I had not finished letting it publish to the web. That's why I went too fast. So here's everybody's name. Are we ready?
Yes, first one for Rocket Fast.
All right, our first Rocket Fast is Asia Story. Woo! Congratulations, Asia. You got a whole bunch of car washes. Woohoo! Congrats. And the other one is for Silver Star?
Yes.
All right, let's see. You can take me to get a Cobb salad. It's my favorite there. Oh no, Asia, I'm sorry. Seriously.
Can I win twice?
No, but you can have your pick. Would you prefer Rocket Fast or Silver Star?
Can I have the Silver Star one?
Yes, you can.
Absolutely.
All right. So
Let's
car
see
wash is up.
their car washed. What are the odds that it would go to Asia twice? If it goes the 3rd time, oh my gosh, for serious.
It's rigged.
It's rigged for Asia.
Okay, move your hand. There you go, Cassie. Move your hand.
I'm not okay. Jessica Holman. Sorry, come on. Okay. Lesson learned from that. Move your mouse away. Maybe that's what makes, I don't know what that happened. That was crazy. Asia, maybe you need to go buy a lottery ticket. So anyway, so congratulations, Asia and Jessica. Jessica, you can get that car washed. Awesome.
Thank you. We will gray box both of those to you.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, Rocket Fast and Silver Star. We appreciate all of our community sponsors every month for supporting the teachers in our district. Thank you. We have a couple of announcements really quick. As y'all all probably know, February 12th is our Professional Development Day. It is district led, so no students will be on campuses that day. If you haven't already signed up for your PD, I would highly encourage you doing that. This will be posted tomorrow morning on the Teach Caddo website if you need the hyperlink. And then if I needed to remind you, we have a winter break coming up. February 15th through the 17th. I know it's a much needed break. And then I'm not sure if y'all got the little tech tip that went out in an email or something earlier. And it asked about, I just wanted to share it because I thought the information was good. Is your Canvas account running slow? Teacher Technology has offered some help, and it has something to do with deleting some assignments in the groups in Canvas. And there is a YouTube that will walk you through those steps, but please feel free to contact Teacher Technology, and their phone number is on here as well. If you do not know who your Teacher Technology person is, you need to ask and call that number and find out. Every school has someone, and they are there to help you be successful and continue to work with our kids. So before we finish up, does anybody have any questions or comments?
Our training,
Well, the CTA, if you're CTA, we're going to talk about that in just a second as far as y'all's training. But I do want to have everybody in the chat box, which for some reason is not wanting to open on my.
I've got the chat open.
Here it is. Okay. In the chat, I am putting a link to our exit ticket. If you will please fill that out. One of the components it's going to ask you is about if you want a copy of the Teach Like a Champion book. And so we need that information so that we'll know where to send your book. If you don't already have one, please check that, and we will be happy to send you a copy of the Teach Like a Champion. There's some other things that it's asking, you know, some takeaways of things that you're interested in maybe talking about. If you've got the book and you see some more ideas you want to talk about, we'll be happy to do those. And also, if you would be interested in sharing really stepping up and sharing your ideas and your experiences in the month of February, trying some of these strategies, let us know. We would love to get some testimonials and get some ideas of ways that you have used that over the next couple of weeks. So that would be great. Batiste, am I forgetting anything as far as questions?
CTA, you will need to stay on the Zoom when we get done here in just a minute. We have a couple of housekeeping things to take care of.
Yeah, which is what that slide, I don't know, y'all don't want my computer host. If you're CTA, you'll stick around just for a minute. But last, I just want to encourage everybody, please join us March 4th at 5 p.m. We will do a Zoom for our training our meeting that night. We've got some great stuff planned, and don't forget that this will be uploaded and you'll be able to access it on the Teach Caddo site starting tomorrow. Probably by the time you get off school tomorrow, it'll be up and ready to go on the Teach Caddo website. And if you don't know how to get there, if you just Google Teach Caddo, we're the very first thing that comes up. So I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. Again, CTA, please remember to stay on, but everybody else, please have a great night and enjoy your winter break, and we will see you in March.